You insure your car, your house, the responsible stuff. But this isn't about being responsible. This is about the moment paranoia gets a price tag and the American instinct to protect everything goes completely, gloriously off the rails. We're counting down the 101 absolute dumbest, most bizarre things Americans have ever actually paid to insure. From alien abductions to policies against pure bad luck, proving that if you can fear it, someone here will sell you a policy for it. 1. Let's kick things off with a cosmic classic, alien abduction insurance. Thousands of Americans have bought policies that cover them in case they're beamed up, subjected to bizarre experiments, or even face an alien-induced pregnancy. The best part? To make a claim, the fine print often requires a signature from the alien. Good luck with that paperwork. 2. College tuition insurance is a very American safety net. Parents pay a small premium, so if their kid medically withdraws mid-semester, they get tens of thousands in tuition and housing refunded. It's basically our freshman discovered mono and existential dread, insurance that saves a family budget from implosion. 3. Florida homeowners literally insure against the ground vanishing under them. Sinkhole coverage is a rider that pays when your lawn turns into a hungry crater and starts eating patios, pools, and that new SUV you were still bragging about. Mother Nature opens a trap door, the policy keeps you solvent. 4. Let's list some American national treasures: the Grand Canyon, the Statue of Liberty, and of course, Dolly Parton's breasts. In a move that is pure legend, she famously insured her iconic chest for $600,000. That's not just protecting a body part, it's a financial fortress around two of the most famous assets in entertainment history. 5. Your voice is just the noise you make. But for Bruce Springsteen, it's the sound of America. The boss reportedly had his legendary vocal cords insured for a cool $6 million. That's not just protecting a voice. It's protecting the ability to yell, "Tramps like us, baby, we were born to run," for 3 hours straight without sounding like a rusty hinge. 6. Imagine your entire office staff wins the Powerball jackpot on a Friday. They are definitely not showing up for work on Monday. That's why some American companies take out insurance against a group of employees winning the lottery. It covers the costs of recruiting and training replacements for their suddenly millionaire workforce. It's the most cynical, yet undeniably practical policy ever. 7. Long before supermodels, America insured legs like they were national infrastructure. Studio icon Betty Grable had her famous pinup gams insured in the 1940s, a publicity juggernaut that protected the studio's box office machine. Only in Hollywood do calves and ankles get treated like blue-chip stock. 8. You're on vacation sipping a drink on a tropical beach and get knocked out by a falling coconut. It sounds like a cartoon gag, but it's a real risk. A travel insurance company famously highlighted that you're more likely to be killed by a falling coconut than a shark, and yes, their policies cover such a ridiculously tropical demise. Suddenly, that beach chair placement seems critical. 9. Prize indemnity insurance is American capitalism at its finest. A bar or car dealer promises, sink a half-court shot, win $50,000. But they're covered by insurance, so when some accountant drains the miracle shot, the insurer mails the check while the business keeps the glory. 10. Planning a wedding is stressful enough, but what if your partner just decides not to show up? You can actually buy change of heart insurance to cover the non-refundable deposits if the wedding is called off due to one party getting cold feet. The ultimate irony? The policy is void if the person who bought it is the one who backs out. 11. If a smile could pay off a mortgage, it would belong to Julia Roberts. At the height of her fame, her iconic, impossibly wide grin was reportedly insured for $30 million. Think about the logistics. What constitutes a claim? A chipped tooth? A frown that lasts more than 24 hours? It's the kind of policy that makes dentists sweat and insurance agents weep with joy. 12. Here's a wild one from the sports world. NFL player Troy Polamalu, famous for his incredible plays and even more incredible hair, had his flowing locks insured by Head & Shoulders for a cool $1 million. That's right. His hair, which he hadn't cut in a decade, was a registered million-dollar asset. Opposing players were probably more scared of accidentally pulling it than getting tackled. 13. Kidnap and ransom insurance sounds like a spy thriller, but US companies quietly buy it for execs abroad. Policies cover negotiators, ransoms, and rescue operations. It's a grim reality, a line item in the budget that says, "In case we need to buy Bob back." 14. You know, coffee is a big deal when a single person's tongue becomes a corporate asset. A lead coffee taster for a major brand had his taste buds insured for a staggering $14 million. His job was to taste test thousands of cups to ensure consistency. This guy's tongue was literally worth more than your house, my house, and the entire neighborhood combined. 15. Getting divorced is messy. Deciding who gets the house, the car, the good china. But what about the dog? Some Americans are now getting PetNup insurance. This covers the legal fees if a couple splits up and ends up in a costly court battle over who gets custody of their beloved fur baby. It's an insurance policy for a problem that wouldn't exist if people could just act like adults. 16. In the golden age of Hollywood, studios controlled everything about their stars, right down to their measurements. Actress Bette Davis allegedly had a policy with Lloyd's of London that insured her iconic slender waistline for $28,000, a fortune at the time. The policy was designed to protect her against unflattering expansion, which is the most polite, old-timey way of saying weight gain. 17. You own a bar in a major college sports town. Your team just won the national championship. Congratulations. Now, prepare for your business to be potentially destroyed by a celebratory riot. That's why some establishments take out special insurance policies to cover damage specifically from riots following a major sporting event. You're literally betting that your own customers are going to get drunk and throw a table through your window. 18. You go to a state fair and see a massive pumpkin. You think, wow, that's a big pumpkin. The farmer who grew it thinks, that's my kid's college fund, and I need to protect it. Giant vegetable growers frequently take out insurance policies on their prize-winning produce for the journey to the competition, protecting against cracks, drops, or even sabotage from a rival squash enthusiast. 19. Expecting a baby is a blessing. Expecting 3 when you planned for 1 is a financial 5-alarm fire. That's why multiple birth insurance is a thing. Couples can take out a policy early in a pregnancy that pays out a lump sum if they end up with twins, triplets, or more. It's a financial bet against your own surprisingly effective fertility. 20. For decades, the University of Georgia's bulldog mascot, Uga, has been a beloved institution. He's also a very valuable dog. The university holds a life insurance policy on him worth thousands of dollars. He lives in an air-conditioned doghouse, flies first class, and has a better benefits package than most university employees. 21. Classic car haulers insure vehicles like their Rembrandts. A 7-figure muscle car on a velvet strap gets a bespoke transit policy that covers potholes, forklift mishaps, and sudden hail. The buyer sees horsepower, the insurer sees rolling litigation risk. 22. You spend your life worrying about fires, floods, and burglars. But have you ever worried about being hit by falling space debris? Some companies offer policies that cover property damage caused by falling satellites or wreckage from old rockets. It's the ultimate 21st century paranoia, being taken out by a piece of a forgotten Soviet-era spy satellite. 23. When you're a sitcom star in the 90s, your face is your fortune. The cast of the iconic show Seinfeld reportedly had their faces insured for $1 million each. It wasn't about protecting them from actual harm, but against any unflattering changes that might affect their on-screen appeal. The policy was essentially a financial safety net against the horrifying prospect of getting less funny-looking. 24. Imagine your entire year's profit could be wiped out by one bad review. That's the reality for some high-end wineries. Reputational risk, insurance exists to protect them from the financial fallout if a globally recognized wine critic gives their new vintage a terrible score, effectively poisoning their sales. It's insurance against a very powerful, very picky opinion. 25. This might be the most American thing yet. There's a company that offers fantasy football insurance. If you draft a star player for your fantasy team and they get a season-ending injury in real life, the policy pays out to help ease the suffering of your fake team. You are literally insuring your imaginary sports management career. Unbelievable. 26. Let's talk about the most destructive force in any American household: a toddler with a tablet. That accidental damage protection the store clerk pressures you to buy? It's not for factory defects. It's for when your kid decides the iPad is a frisbee, a dinner plate, or a canvas for their permanent marker masterpiece. It is, quite literally, my child has zero impulse control insurance. 27. You buy a new piece of furniture and they offer a protection plan. This isn't for a faulty leg. This is a 5-year bet that someone in your house is a walking disaster. It's insurance against your friend who talks with their hands while holding a glass of red wine, or your uncle who falls asleep on the sofa with a slice of greasy pizza on his chest. 28. Owning a small, independent bookstore is a romantic dream. Insuring one is a cynical nightmare. Liability policies can cover scenarios like a customer tripping over a strategically placed stack of books, or more importantly, spilling a venti latte all over a rare signed first edition. You're not just protecting your business, you're protecting literature from lactose. 29. Your dog sees a squirrel on your brand new 8K television. To you, it's a nature documentary. To your dog, it's a mortal enemy that has breached the castle walls. Home contents insurance with accidental damage covers the aftermath of this epic battle. When your $1,000 screen has been defeated by a 70-pound golden retriever with the strategic mind of a pebble. 30. You're a dedicated foodie who owns a high-end food truck. You can get insurance to cover your equipment, but some policies also cover event cancellation. This protects you if you pay a huge fee to park at a massive music festival that gets rained out, leaving you with 500 unsold lobster rolls and a profound sense of despair. It really makes you think about insuring against life's dumbest moments. What's the one thing in your house you'd pay to protect from your own family or friends? Let us know in the comments. 31. Planning a big family reunion in a public park is a logistical feat. You can actually buy one-day event insurance for it. This doesn't just cover someone getting injured in the three-legged race. It can cover your non-refundable deposit for the bouncy castle if a freak tornado warning forces everyone to flee. It's financial protection against an act of God ruining your potato salad. 32. You decide to save money with a DIY project. You're going to hang one simple shelf. What could go wrong? Well, you could drill directly into a water pipe, flooding your downstairs neighbor. A personal liability policy is basically, my DIY ambition outweighed my actual skill insurance, and it's the only thing standing between a small project and a 5-figure disaster. 33. You collect rare vintage garden gnomes. To your friends, they're creepy. To you, they're an investment. You can add a special rider to your homeowner's insurance to cover your ceramic army. This protects them from a rogue lawnmower, a clumsy dog, or even being stolen by local teenagers for their next TikTok prank. 34. It's every parent's nightmare. Your kid is the star of the school play, and on opening night they come down with a case of stomach flu so violent it could be classified as a biohazard. Some event ticket insurance policies will actually reimburse you for those non-refundable tickets if you have to miss the show due to a documented illness. 35. You spend thousands on a high-end video game PC with a top-of-the-line graphics card. Then, a power surge from a thunderstorm fries the entire system. Supplemental electronics insurance, which goes beyond a standard warranty, covers exactly this kind of random, catastrophic failure. So be honest. Have you ever broken something expensive in a moment of pure, stupid rage or bad luck and wished you could file a claim? The comments are a safe space. 36. Destination weddings are a huge trend. They're also a huge risk. Wedding insurance can cover a lost deposit if the venue goes bankrupt, but it also covers dumber things, like the airline losing the bride's dress, or the best man leaving the wedding rings in the back of an Uber. It's a policy that bets on the fact that at least one key person in the wedding party will be a complete idiot. 37. You drive for a ride-sharing service to make some extra cash. You pick up a group from a concert. They are enthusiastic and messy. Special rideshare insurance can cover the professional cleaning costs if a passenger decides your backseat is the perfect place to test the explosive properties of a shaken-up soda, or worse. 38. Your prized possession is a mint condition first-issue comic book. It sits in a climate-controlled case. But what if your roof leaks directly onto it? Or your cat decides it's the perfect scratching post? Collectibles insurance is a niche market for exactly this, protecting your most beloved nerdy treasures from the cruel, uncaring randomness of the universe. 39. Some travel insurance policies include coverage for bedbugs. Let that sink in. If you stay in a questionable hotel and accidentally bring home some six-legged hitchhikers, the policy can help cover the astronomical cost of fumigating your entire house. It's insurance against a vacation that literally follows you home and bites you in your sleep. 40. You host a massive fantasy football draft party. You're the commissioner. Someone accuses someone else of cheating. An argument breaks out. A bowl of guacamole goes flying and takes out your new soundbar. That's a classic case for your homeowner's liability and personal property coverage. It's a financial safety net for when your fake sports league causes real-world damage. 41. You've seen those wacky, waving, inflatable tube men in front of a mattress store. But have you ever considered them as weapons of mass destruction? Imagine a strong gust of wind turns one into a giant, flailing nylon missile that careens across a parking lot and smacks into a moving car. Businesses have to insure against this. Only in America is death by rogue dancing inflatable a legitimate insurable business risk. 42. For a professional Santa Claus, that magnificent white beard isn't just a costume piece, it's the entire resume. So, they insure it. Imagine the scene. A kid gets a little too excited, yanks a huge patch of beard out, and Santa goes down in a flurry of wrapping paper and shattered dignity. That's a legitimate career-threatening workplace injury, and there's a policy to cover it. 43. In the world of craft beer, the most valuable employee is a microscopic fungus. Breweries have their unique proprietary yeast strains insured for tens of thousands of dollars. One power outage, one tiny contamination, and the soul of their award-winning IPA is gone forever. It is, without a doubt, the most important insurance policy on something you literally cannot see. 44. The haunted house industry has a beautiful paradoxical problem. Their product works too well. Their insurance policies are designed for when they succeed, covering them when a terrified customer sprints away from a guy with a fake chainsaw, trips over their own feet, and breaks an ankle. They are paying a fortune to protect themselves from the consequences of being good at their job. 45. Some gamers have even insured their online characters. Lose your MMORPG avatar to a hack? Or see your legendary loot deleted? The policy pays out. Imagine calling your insurer. Yes, my flaming sword of infinite doom vanished. I'd like to file a claim. 46. Forget insuring a voice. Let's talk about insuring a whole digital career. For a top Twitch streamer or YouTuber, their account is everything. It's their office, their stage, and their entire income stream. They now buy policies that protect them from the financial fallout of a catastrophic hack, a wrongful ban, or a sudden platform demonetization. It's insurance against being deleted from existence by an algorithm. 47. A storm chaser's entire business model is to drive directly into a tornado. Their equipment is worth tens of thousands of dollars, so naturally, they insure it against tornado damage. They are literally insuring their gear against the exact thing they are professionally paid to find and get dangerously close to. You cannot invent a more gloriously insane business plan than that. 48. The American college tradition of kidnapping a rival's live animal mascot is a special kind of chaotic. Universities have to take out mascot insurance to deal with the aftermath. This doesn't just cover the search party. It covers the vet bills after some fraternity prankster tries to ride the live badger mascot down a flight of stairs, causing emotional trauma to everyone involved, especially the badger. 49. For a world-class chef, their nose is $1 million piece of diagnostic equipment. One bad case of the flu or a nasty sinus infection could destroy their ability to tell the difference between saffron and sawdust, instantly ending their career. Insuring their nose isn't vanity. It's protecting a hypersensitive money-printing machine from the common cold. 50. You know that one house on the block whose Christmas display makes the local power grid weep? They need a special event policy. It's not just in case a neighbor trips over the 57th extension cord. It's for when the animatronic reindeer army short-circuits in the rain, causing a surge that fries every garden gnome in a 5-block radius. This is insurance against weaponized holiday cheer. 51. Here's one for the 1%. You buy a penthouse for $10 million specifically for its perfect, unobstructed view of the city. You can then buy view insurance. This is a real policy that pays out millions if a new skyscraper goes up and blocks your precious scenery. It's a financial product that exists solely to combat the tragedy of a rich person having to look at a new building. 52. This tradition is so dumb, it needed its own insurance policy. In golf, if you hit a hole-in-one, you're expected to buy a round of drinks for everyone at the clubhouse. To avoid this punishment for success, golfers buy insurance that covers the bar tab. You pay a premium to protect yourself from the financial consequences of your own incredible luck. Americans, seriously? 53. For a freelance hand model, a simple paper cut isn't an inconvenience, it's an industrial accident. Their insurance policies are absurdly specific, covering them against cat scratches, rogue splinters, and aggressive dish soap. They live in a world where shaking someone's hand is a calculated risk, and opening a can of soda is an extreme sport. 54. The unique saddle shape of a Pringles chip is a multi-million-dollar asset. The ridiculously complex machine that creates and stacks them is a marvel of engineering. The company has it insured not just against breakdown, but against industrial espionage. They have a policy to protect the world from the secrets of a perfectly stackable potato crisp. 55. And this might be the most WTF policy of them all: divorce insurance. You pay a premium every month as a bet on your own marriage spectacularly imploding. If it does, you get a payout. It's not an investment plan, it's a Vegas casino where the only thing you're betting on is your own future misery. It is the most cynical, yet somehow practical financial product ever invented. 56. The American palate can be priceless. Top wine and food professionals insure their taste buds against catastrophe. One sinus infection or lab accident, and the superpower's gone. The policy turns bad oyster into temporary disability. 57. Owning a charming, historic bed and breakfast sounds lovely until you factor in the guests. Owners take out liability policies for the most ridiculous scenarios. A guest trying to recreate a scene from a romance novel and breaking a priceless antique bed, for example. You're not just insuring your property, you're insuring against the consequences of your own cozy, vacation-inspiring charm. 58. You've spent decades curating a priceless wine collection in your custom-built cellar. Then, a simple power outage from a summer storm knocks out the climate control for 24 hours. Your insurance is what stands between you and the horror of discovering your life's passion has turned into thousands of dollars of very expensive salad dressing. 59. A cosmetic surgeon's hands are their entire business. The policies they carry are legendary, protecting them against any injury that could affect their steady, precise work. We're talking about a surgeon who probably wears Kevlar gloves to chop vegetables and refuses to open a stubborn pickle jar. It's a career so delicate, it has to be insured against everyday life. 60. You're throwing a big backyard birthday party for your grandchild, and you rent a bouncy castle. You are now the proud temporary owner of an inflatable liability magnet. Event insurance for private parties covers you when a dozen sugar-fueled 7-year-olds create a small hurricane inside, and one of them inevitably gets bounced right out onto your prize-winning petunias. What's the most chaotic family event you've ever had to survive? Let us know in the comments below. 61. While singers insure their melodic voices, a top voice actor insures something different: their range and character. Their policy protects them from an injury or illness that would prevent them from sounding like a gravelly movie trailer announcer 1 minute and a squeaky cartoon mouse the next. It's a financial plan for protecting a career from a bad case of laryngitis. 62. Let's bring it to the modern age, but in a way that's terrifyingly real. A small local bakery that runs its entire order system online can get cyber liability insurance. It protects them if a hacker steals their customer list, or, even worse, changes all the cake orders to be decorated with insults. It's insurance against a digital prank that could sink a real-world business. 63. A high-end landscape architect is working on a multi-million-dollar backyard renovation. Their insurance covers them if their crew accidentally backs a mini excavator into the client's house. But it also covers more specific disasters, like accidentally rupturing a hidden, custom-built koi pond, resulting in the tragic and very expensive demise of a dozen fish that cost more than their car. 64. You finally restored your dream classic car, a 1967 Mustang. You take it for one glorious drive to the grocery store. Specialized classic car insurance is what protects you, not from a highway pileup, but from a runaway shopping cart dinging the door in the parking lot. It's a policy that acknowledges your priceless piece of history is still vulnerable to the dumbest parts of modern life. 65. Having a pet parrot that can talk is a great party trick until it learns your alarm system's disarm code and cheerfully recites it to the pizza delivery guy. Bizarrely specific pet liability insurance can cover strange scenarios where a pet's unique skills create a security risk. Which of these policies so far seems the most absurd, yet you can totally see why it exists? We'd love to hear your thoughts. 66. A wedding photographer's biggest fear isn't a bride who blinks in every photo. It's a corrupted memory card. Professional photographers carry insurance that covers them for data loss, helping to pay for reshoots or compensating a couple if their special day vanishes into a digital ghost. It's a policy that protects against the catastrophic failure of a tiny piece of plastic. 67. Cities actually buy rain insurance. If a July festival gets washed out, the policy reimburses staging, marketing, and cleanup. It's legalized superstition, paying an actuary to move thunderstorms from the mayor's desk to a spreadsheet. 68. An antique dealer's business relies on moving fragile, irreplaceable items across the country. They don't just use bubble wrap, they use ironclad insurance. The policy protects a priceless 18th century vase from the reality of modern shipping, where its box is likely to be used for a game of warehouse Jenga by a guy on his fourth energy drink of the day. 69. Every moving company has a horror story, and every horror story is covered by insurance. Their policies are designed for the moment their strongest employees have to pivot a grand piano up a narrow flight of stairs, misjudge the angle by half an inch, and take out a chunk of the wall, the banister, and the client's will to live. 70. Welcome to the absurd risk of the smart home. You can get a rider on your home insurance to cover failures of your automated systems. This is for when your smart sprinklers turn on in the middle of a rainstorm and flood your garage, or your smart fridge malfunctions and orders $400 worth of artisanal cheese. It's insurance for when your own house decides to get a little too smart for its own good. 71. Any town that hosts a big chili cook-off is essentially underwriting a delicious citywide science experiment. The event organizers have to take out massive insurance policies, not just for slips and falls, but for the very real possibility that one contestant's secret ingredient was a terrible, terrible idea, leading to a mass food poisoning event. It's a policy that exists to prevent a beloved local tradition from becoming a biohazard situation. 72. For some people, a model train set is a quaint hobby. For others, it's a basement-sized replica of a tiny universe, and they absolutely insure it. This protects their miniature world from real-world cataclysms like a water heater leak causing a biblical flood in Littleville, or the house cat deciding to play Godzilla and leveling the entire downtown district. It's a serious policy for a tiny, fragile world. 73. It's the 4th of July, and you've decided the neighborhood needs to see your patriotism. From space. Your homeowner's insurance has a liability clause for when your professional-grade firework display goes wrong, like when a rogue rocket shoots sideways, sails over the fence, and incinerates your neighbor's prize-winning hydrangeas. It's financial protection for when your celebration creates a diplomatic incident on your own block. 74. Wildlife vandalism is a line item in U.S. policies. Deer hoof-till lawns, feral hogs rototill golf courses, raccoons perform midnight demolition. The insurer funds turf resurrection, while nature keeps plotting Tuesday's attack. 75. A ventriloquist's dummy isn't just a prop, it's a silent wooden business partner worth a fortune. They are insured against the ultimate horror, being dropped and getting a crack across that creepy painted-on smile. It's a very serious policy to protect a career from one clumsy mistake. This makes me wonder, what's the most valuable hobby or collection you own that probably deserves its own insurance policy? Let us know in the comments. 76. A world-class violinist playing a 300-year-old Stradivarius is holding an asset worth more than most private jets. The insurance on these instruments is legendary. It covers theft, of course, but it also covers the instrument simply being in a room where the humidity changes too quickly, potentially warping the ancient wood and destroying its priceless soul. They're literally insuring a piece of history against the air itself. 77. Any golf course superintendent will tell you their biggest enemy isn't a drought. It's a flock of angry Canadian geese. A single flock can descend on a perfectly manicured green and turn it into a wasteland overnight. Courses take out specific insurance policies to cover the massive cost of repairing damage caused by nature's most arrogant and destructive lawn ornaments. 78. You've spent 8 agonizing hours assembling a giant piece of flat-pack furniture. On the final step, the entire structure gives a sad wooden sigh and collapses, taking your brand new television with it. That accidental damage insurance you bought? That's not a warranty. That's, my ambition outweighed my patient's insurance, and it just saved your weekend from total ruin. 79. An ice sculptor's career is a beautiful, temporary tragedy. They create breathtaking masterpieces that are destined to melt. They insure their work for big events, protecting them against a power outage or an unexpectedly warm day that turns their magnificent swan sculpture into a very expensive puddle before the guests have even arrived. It's insurance against a literal meltdown. 80. The life of a professional dog walker is a study in controlled chaos. Imagine walking 6 dogs when they all spot the same squirrel. The result is a furry, 4-legged explosion. Their liability insurance is for the aftermath, like when the tangled leashes trip a jogger, or one of the dogs gets loose and decides to personally aerate the neighbor's prize-winning lawn. It's a policy that exists to manage the fallout from pure, unadulterated canine joy. 81. This policy is a quiet hero of the hospitality industry. Venues that host children's slumber parties can get insured against what are politely called nurses incidents. The policy covers the professional cleaning or outright replacement of a mattress after a child has an overnight accident. It's the most discreet and, frankly, most necessary insurance you've never heard of. 82. For a professional taxidermist, a steady hand is the difference between a noble beast and a nightmare. They can get insurance to cover them against a catastrophic artistic failure. That horrifying moment when the majestic buck a client brought in ends up looking less like a king of the forest and more like a cartoon character that's been electrocuted. 83. If you own a rare prize-winning show cat, you know it's not just a pet. It's a furry, 4-legged diva. The insurance policies for these feline aristocrats are astounding. They cover major medical issues, of course, but can also cover the emotional distress the cat suffers from losing a competition. Yes, you can insure a cat's fragile ego. 84. Competitive eating is an insurance agent's worst nightmare. Organizers have to take out massive liability policies in case a contestant suffers a medical emergency from attempting to eat 75 hot dogs in 10 minutes. It is, by its very definition, insurance for an event where the entire point is to push the human body to its most absurd and unhealthy limits. 85. Retailers once sold weather promotion insurance. Example: buy a grill this week, and if it rains 2 inches Saturday, you get cash back. Customers pray for storms, stores pray for sun, and insurers quietly pray you never learn how good they are at math. 86. The Thanksgiving Turkey Fryer. A uniquely American invention that combines holiday cheer with the explosive potential of a small bomb. Insurance companies see a massive spike in claims every November from people who deep fry a frozen turkey, turning their backyard deck into a raging inferno. It's a policy that exists for the intersection of tradition and terrible physics. 87. A professional magician's greatest asset isn't their sleight of hand, it's their secrets. Some top-tier illusionists have taken out policies that protect them from the financial ruin that would follow if a rival magician or a disgruntled assistant exposed the methods behind their signature trick. It's a multi-million-dollar policy to protect the magic of, wait, how did they do that? 88. You've spent a small fortune on your custom-built home saltwater aquarium, complete with rare, exotic fish that have names and distinct personalities. Then, a tiny crack appears in the glass. Your homeowner's insurance rider is what protects you from the horror of watching 200 gallons of water and your entire, expensive aquatic family empty onto your brand-new hardwood floors. 89. For a television news anchor or a CEO who's constantly in the public eye, a bad haircut isn't just an inconvenience. It's a brand crisis. They can get insured against a catastrophic tonsorial error, a haircut so bad it makes them a public laughingstock and requires them to hide from cameras for weeks. It's insurance against a stylist having a very, very bad day. 90. A professional gift wrapper, yes, that's a real job, has their hands insured. Their entire career depends on crisp corners, perfect bows, and zero paper cuts. They have policies protecting them from the mundane dangers of scissors and tape dispensers. What's the one skill or talent of yours you would insure if you could? Your amazing parallel parking ability? Your perfect pie crust recipe? Let us know in the comments. 91. A golf course doesn't just have to worry about geese. A single deer wandering onto a pristine green at night can tear it to shreds with its hooves, causing thousands in damages. Course insurance specifically covers wildlife-related vandalism, which is a polite way of saying they're insured against a Bambi-related incident. 92. Your food delivery app promises your food will arrive hot and fresh. Some services have started offering satisfaction insurance through their premium subscriptions. This covers you if your driver clearly took a scenic route through another state, or if it's painfully obvious they helped themselves to a driver's tax of your French fries. It's a tiny policy for a universally understood betrayal. 93. Robot vacuums have a notorious enemy: pet accidents. Accidental damage plans cover the cleanup and motor replacement after a very bad route choice. The paperwork is clinical, but the carpets remember. 94. A city can insure its public art, like a famous bronze statue in the town square. This doesn't just cover graffiti. Some policies cover the financial fallout if the statue, long considered a good luck charm, is damaged, and the local sports team immediately goes on a historic losing streak, causing a drop in tourism. It's insurance against a citywide jinx. 95. The drummer for a world-famous rock band has their wrists and hands insured for millions. Decades of high-speed, powerful drumming can lead to career-ending repetitive strain injuries. The policy is a financial safety net that acknowledges that their job is to essentially hit things for a living, as hard as possible for 3 hours a night. 96. A vineyard in California has a very modern fear: smoke taint. If a wildfire happens miles away, the smoke can settle on the grapes and ruin the flavor of the entire harvest, costing millions. Wineries now have specific insurance policies that cover their crop against the ghost of a fire they never even saw. 97. Here's a career you didn't know existed: a professional bed tester. These people are paid to sleep in hotel beds and rate their comfort. And yes, they have insurance. It covers them for the risk of developing a chronic back injury from a poorly designed mattress. They are literally insured against the occupational hazard of a bad night's sleep. Which of these last few policies do you find the most ridiculously specific? Tell us your pick. 98. We've talked about live mascots, but what about the costumed kind? A company like Disney or a major sports team has policies covering their character mascots. This protects them if a mascot performer gets heat stroke inside a giant fuzzy head, or more importantly, covers the liability if a kid pulls the head off the mascot in front of a crowd, shattering the illusions and dreams of hundreds of children simultaneously. 99. A high-end chocolatier can insure their hands against burns and their palate against damage, but some also insure their secret recipes. If a trusted employee leaves and takes the legendary truffle recipe to a competitor, the policy can cover the massive financial losses and legal fees. It's corporate espionage, but for chocolate. 100. You can buy a plot of land on the moon. It's a novelty gift, but some companies that sell it have offered lunar property insurance. The policy supposedly protects your claim against unforeseen circumstances, which presumably includes an alien invasion or the moon suddenly deciding it identifies as a planet and leaving Earth's orbit. 1 to 1. And to bring our journey full circle from the cosmos, we end with the ultimate existential policy. A few companies have offered insurance against the discovery that we are all living in a computer simulation. If a glitch in the matrix reveals our reality is fake, the policy pays out. It is, without question, the dumbest and most profound insurance policy ever conceived. A financial hedge against the very nature of existence itself. So, from cosmic paranoia to corporate absurdity, we've seen that if you can worry about it, someone in America will sell you a policy for it. But that raises a much bigger question for the comments. After all this, what is the one single thing you believe is genuinely uninsurable? A clean conscience? A good reputation? Or does absolutely everything have a price? Let the debate begin. If you enjoyed this dive into organized madness, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed for more.